Hello there and welcome to the Business Weekly Show here on Citi TV. My name is Michael Obodu. It's good to be back. It's been quite a while. Well, you know how we do it on this show. It's 1 hour packed with news that made the world of business. And you know how we do it with a touch of fun and excitement. Are you ready? Let's go. When was the last time you went out to buy a recharge card for your phone and were told by the vendor that they were out of stock? That must have been very disappointing, isn't it? A colleague of mine told me about her experience where she roamed the whole of Awushi looking for something to buy and she couldn't get some. And the unfortunate part was the fact that she didn't even have money in her mobile money wallet to explore that option. Now, this shortage must clearly be affecting the businesses of these vendors. We spoke to some of them in Kumasi and this is what they had to say.
For a month now, Anson Josephine has not been able to sell recharge cards for mobile phone users within the area she operates. This is because there's a shortage of cards on the market, especially for telecom giant MTN Ghana. The development is a worry for her.
The credit cards, it's been affecting us because that's where when you buy some, you get credits on it, but now we've been not getting some, and then it's quite unfortunate that it's not helping us at all. So we've been facing some challenges which is not helping us. But we who help others, we are not been paying good at all. So I would say it's nice not bringing the cards. It's very bad.
Although she makes some gains in recharging for her customers via the mobile money transfer system, selling the recharge cards increases her daily and weekly earnings.
What they tell us is that it's quite that they are not selling it or they are not bringing out again because they only want us to do the transfer and stop doing the cards. Okay, the cards, I would say in a week, 15 cedis or 10 cedis. It's not helping us and we are not gaining anything at all. We are not gaining anything at all and it's really affecting me as well. Yes, because I'm working for someone, for the person to pay me. And then since we are not getting any profit from it, it's not helping me because I really need money and that is why I'm here. So since the cars, they are not bringing it out again, it's really affecting me.
Josephine is not alone. Other vendors at other locations within the Kumasi metropolis say the shortage of the cards is hitting hard on their businesses.
MTN card ne dey omuja na affect your business ni bebre because obi wo ha oba se o ka chen say MTN card ni bi ni ona transfer ne wo ha obi wo ha fine obeti ase obeye obi on so because me wo kwan traffic ache o ka transfer na sem che na o ka se impoye mana be huana transfer na so no oko enyo obi a na tia obi won so a onji ni se card na ensa amabiem eti u kan obekọ baabi fufuro obe nante a obekọ akodu baabi na ebi a obi atimi a convince ni se ebi a say na waye but my business ne nko kra transfer na transfer no so no oya ebi wo ha se nipa ne be 5 cedis a obeya ama na ebi a 4 cedis 50 pesos na wanya mfa so ba na amsa card ni woni nti no obi wa oya transfer ne mana aji se oya ne 5 cedis pepepe san so ma wo boka o transfer ne transfer ne mfa so transfer no so chen card ne de ba card ne kontem e chen transfer no
e bi bebe nim transfer ne ye ti cash no ama for to cash transfer ni nti ama ye lose customers bebe e go transfer onim ye cash no kwa no dididwa ti no Kasamne ka ba ka ba huseni pa gua bebre amoto cars bebre ti se cars ni woni ti ama transfer na ye ton amon peneto.
The vendors also complain about the scarcity of the 1 Ghana cedi recharge card, which is affordable for most customers.
*134*1. Before I even forget, still on the scratch card issue. Apparently, the shortage on the market is a deliberate attempt by one of the telcos. They say it is part of their digitization agenda, and they are hoping that it will encourage more people to choose their electronic options in loading their phones with credit. Interesting. Hey, I'm Bonko 245.
As at the end of 2020, MTN's physical recharge cards made up only 5% of the recharge options made available by the telecoms giant to the general public. Apart from the cards which used to make up about 30% when it comes to recharging back in 2016, the network also allows recharging of airtime to be done via the electronic virtual distribution EVD system, otherwise known as credit transfer, as well as the use of mobile money to buy airtime, among others. In an interview with Citi Business News on the recent complaints of a shortage, the General Manager for Regional Sales in the Southern Sector, Abubakar Mohammed, encouraged vendors and the general public to explore the other options available for accessing airtime.
We started the digitization not today, it's been on, and EVD has been on the market for the past since 2006. If you remember, people call it unit transfer or credit transfer. So it's not today, it's been on the market for all these periods. And all in line has been in line with our strategy to digitize the market to make sure that people get to use how to adopt digitization. And for the past 3 years, scratch used to be almost 30%. Since 2016, came down to 20%. As of last year, scratch was by end of the year or somewhere around 5%. So they know, and even the retailers who sell the airtime knows that indeed scratch has been, it's not, if they look at their bulk of sale, scratch is about 5-10% for this. It's been mainly through the electronic EVD. And also with the advent of COVID, we also need to emphasize and support the electronic and digitization. That's to encourage people to reduce less or reduce contact by handling physical, thereby buying airtime on their own through the Momo self-direct, or you go to the vendor, he can vend to you mobile money or EVD airtime. So that's.
When asked about the possible loss of earnings for vendors who sell scratch cards, Mr. Mohammed emphasized the need to prioritize the safety and health of the general public as MTN seeks to carry out its mandate.
Scratch was just a portion of the total consideration. And looking at where we are now, do you only consider just that person, or you are looking at the total people? So that is why we're encouraging people, even to us, looking at the logistic involved in distributing scratch. The warehouse is in Accra, Koforidua, Cape Coast, Tamale. The number of hands that they scratch will exchange before I get to you, the vendor in traffic. So in order to mitigate and reduce this contact, it's better and it's in your own interest at this time that you people should do more EVD than handling stuff. You never know who handled it before it gets to you.
That's a very interesting one. I'm just wondering though, what happens to our grandparents who are probably not used to this whole digitization? Well, anyways, now let's talk about mobile money. Would you want to pay taxes on your mobile money? As for me, no. I mean, no comment. Well, it came up during the ministerial vetting earlier the week. But then, what do the tax experts think about it? Let's find out.
Making her submissions to the Appointments Committee of Parliament on Monday, the Communications and Digitalization Minister-designate, Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, disclosed that the telecommunication companies needed to be taxed for the 10% charges they place on mobile money transactions. According to her, a report from the Common Platform, which monitors mobile money transactions, indicated that monthly usage from 344.6 million transactions in January 2021 alone amounted to 81.3 billion Ghana cedis. She further noted that the 344.6 million mobile money transactions generated 124.5 million Ghana cedis non-taxed transaction fees for the mobile money operators. It is for this reason that she entreated the government to start taxing telecom operators on revenue they make from mobile money transactions. But a tax analyst, Timor Francis Boy, commenting on the issue, believes this suggestion should be assessed thoroughly. He spoke to Citi Business News.
If we are going to introduce tax on mobile money, currently the operators charge a fee, let's say 1%. Because it's a consumer tax, certainly this is going to be passed on to the consumer. So the 1%, we don't know how much is going to be proposed, but if it is, the 1% is certainly going to go up to, let's say, 2%, 3%, or 4%, depending on how much tax we want to impose or whatever. Then what will be the implications for consumers? Will consumers continue to use it, or will resort to the cash transaction? And we know that the government is pushing the digital agenda, and so the vice president recently launched the QR code payment system, where people can buy and do things digitally. When we do that, wouldn't it discourage the people from using the digital transaction? So I believe that the discussion needs to be looked at.
Now let's talk about global records. Yes, global records. The woman of the moment is Madame Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She's the new chief of the World Trade Organization. Now, this woman is the first African and the first woman to ever hold that position. And this woman has a thing for being first too. Well, she's the first woman to lead Nigeria's Ministry of Finance and its Foreign Affairs Ministry. Well, now let's hear from her what her plans are for her new role.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about an unprecedented disruption to the global economy and world trade, as production and consumption have been scaled back across the globe. Global trade recorded a 5% drop in the third quarter of 2020 compared with the same period in 2019, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's new Global Trade Update published in October last year. Since the emergence of the pandemic, many countries have imposed restrictions on their import and export processes, including the closure of borders and airports as a means to prevent the spread of the disease. Although several countries like Ghana eased their restrictions along the lines, the new strain of the virus is still creating a shaky ground for economic activities across the globe. But the newly appointed Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, believes there should be temporal rules that can ease the prohibitions on imports and exports among countries in this COVID-19 era.
First and foremost, we need to focus on the issue of COVID-19 and what can the WTO do to contribute to solutions. It needs to work with the WHO, with the COVAX facility, with the ACT Accelerator, all these organizations that are trying to accelerate supplies and vaccines to poor countries. The WTO, one, can look at export restrictions and prohibitions from members. The International Trade Center says there are almost still 100 members who have these restrictions and prohibitions. How can we lift them and be very transparent about them, making them temporary so that there'll be a freer flow of goods? Secondly, how can we also encourage finding what I call a third way in which vaccines can be manufactured in many more countries, whilst taking care that we don't discourage research and innovation, which is linked to intellectual property rights.
She also believes a change in the laws governing the World Trade Organization to suit current trends will go a long way to facilitate the digitalization of trade among countries.
There's the need to modernize the rules of the WTO and bring them up to 21st century issues. What do I mean by that? We have to look at the digital economy, which has become so prominent during this pandemic. E-commerce is key and is going to grow in leaps and bounds as we move on. How do WTO does not presently have rules that underpin e-commerce. So how to put those rules in place, negotiations will be very, very important. Ditto, there are other types of negotiations on investment facilitation, domestic services regulation, etc. These all need to be looked at. And we have a good chance of trying to come to grips with some of them.
Now let's talk about something that I know everybody will be interested in, and that's fuel prices. Have you realized how it's been rising lately? Now it's selling for about 5 cedis, 20 pesos a litre. But somewhere around December, it was as low as about 4.5 Ghana cedis. Can we blame the fuel stations? Tell me, on the global market, oil prices are really skyrocketing. For the past 2 months, it's increased for about $12. By about $12, I mean. But you know, for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, they say increasing transport fares around this time is a no-no.
Let's say if there are a lot of demand in the market averagely a day I could spend about 250 on fuel.
Isaac Ofosu is a ride-hailing app driver, and he laments the impact of the recent increase in fuel prices over the last couple of days.
Initially, if I spend 50 cedis on fuel, I should be able to get about 150, pay my charges, buy another fuel, and then maybe get the money down for service. You understand? But now, because of the increment of the fuel, if I even buy 200 cedis a day, I wouldn't be able to recover the same amount I bought the fuel.
Isaac's concerns may be justified considering the fact that fuel prices at various pumps have recorded some level of increase. A number of oil marketing companies are currently selling at 5 and 5.2 Ghana cedis a litre. However, there are others who are actually selling below the 5 Ghana cedi mark. Global prices of fuel have increased significantly over the past 3 months from an initial price of about $48 to over $61 a barrel. Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers (COPEC), Duncan Amoah, explains the dynamics that have contributed to the increase on the global stage.
That of diesel seemed to be spiking also, due largely in part to the heating that diesel is being applied to around this time in the colder regions. Again, you have COVID vaccine trial that is also helping ease down on lockdown restrictions. Thirdly, you have the global aviation systems also picking up.
His outfit had earlier predicted an increase of up to 16 pesos at the pumps, although current market prices have gone up between 10 and 12 pesos. Despite the hike in fuel prices, Duncan Amoah believes an increase in transport fares will not be justified, especially as the economy continues to grapple with the impact of COVID-19.
The last time transport fare increments happened, somewhere last year, June, you were talking of fuel prices being at levels much higher than they are currently. You were talking of a situation where social distancing was also a huge toll on them, and so they needed to recoup something. Transport fares went up by as much as 30%. Those variables are not at play as we speak, so any attempt to increase transport fares would be resisted.
The COVID-19 pandemic has compelled a lot of people to switch to online shopping in order not to contract the virus. This clearly means a boom in business for such entities. But some of them also are evolving how they go about their business so they also don't spread the virus. Let's check them out in this video. The COVID-19 pandemic compelled a lot of behavioral change as there were no more handshakes and hugs, and ideas such as social distancing and the wearing of nose masks became part of our lives. As these have become the new normal, the pandemic is also influencing how people like Eleanor Konote Aholu do their shopping.
So this pandemic has actually influenced and affected my shopping, as I now have to rely on online portals and social media to make inquiries and purchase things. I place my orders every other week. I don't go online every week. I may find something every week, but I wait to place my orders every other week. And I receive them via courier services since I wouldn't want to be out there.
The pandemic may have its downsides, but it clearly has become a game changer for online businesses. The Chief Operating Officer of Jumia Ghana, Lionel Mobi, agrees.
As an online company, we really saw this as an opportunity for us to increase our relevance, because it's a time where we want to minimize social interaction as much as possible. And for that, we had to adapt our processes and make sure that our customer experience is very good, so that we are able to make people continue having good, continue eating through our platforms. So we see it as a big opportunity for us to increase our relevance, and I think so far we are happy of the result because the customer adoption is good.
Even though the outbreak of COVID-19 has been a big win for online business operators, they have also been compelled to make some adjustments to improve their service delivery.
The two most important things that we did is that we push online payment to make sure that we don't have cash manipulation as much as possible. And secondly, we did contactless delivery, which basically you can be delivered without having a physical interaction with our driver. Knowing that the driver already, even you have an interaction, is equipped to make sure that, and is trained to make sure that he adheres to the COVID protocol. So it basically, to explain simply, so the rider will call in to come and deliver your package as normal. Once he calls you, he arrives at your destination. He's going to drop the package there at a certain point. And to make sure that you have received the package, we are going to send you a one-time password. Once you receive the package, you enter the one-time password on our app, and we know that you have been delivered. So it's a delivery that does not require any contact. You just have to disinfect the package, and everything is safe. Unlike when you have to hand direct, the rider has to hand direct the package to you.
Presently, Ghana's COVID-19 case count is at almost 8,000, and Public Relations and Communications Manager of the company, Bennett Otu, believes opting to shop online is one good way of reducing one's chances of contracting the virus.
I must say that we are not in normal times, so traditionally we would want to go out and see the physical product for ourselves, to feel it and touch it before we buy. But because of the times that we are in, shopping online is the best practice at the moment. You get to stay in the convenience of your home or your office, order these items, and then they get delivered to you. So it saves you from the risk of going out there to contract the virus.
Jumia Ghana has even gone ahead to give out masks and sanitizers to some Ghanaians to help in the fight against COVID-19. Online shopping may have its own drawbacks, but it may have come to stay.
There are times when you have, the fake ones, but mostly genuine, because I've been shopping a lot and there are just a few hitches here and there. I think the business is thriving, and if we actually pay attention to it, we'll go far with this online shopping. We actually need to understand the business to let it thrive more than it is.
Still on COVID-19 related issues. Now, the producers of cashew in the Bunu region are not getting it easy at all. The pandemic has negatively affected their business, and they are beginning to count their losses. This is very sad. Let's hear more about their issue in this video.
The cashew tree is farmed in most parts of the Bono East region due to its high demand and profitability. Market prices of cashew nuts, however, are not fixed, with some farmers allegedly being cheated of deserved profits by buyers or agents. According to Valora Exim, a cashew trading company in the Bono East region, cashew nut prices have been falling drastically due to a low demand caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and quality issues. 5 kilograms of nuts fell from $5.7 to $5.4 last week and is expected to fall further. Amadou Toure, a worker with a cashew trading company, says the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a financial problem in the cashew supply chain.
Yeah, it has affected it since last year that it started. We all know it has affected it a lot, because for us to get money from Tema and then bring it here for us to buy, they are not giving us, because they cannot send the goods to Singapore and then other places whom they are supposed to give the goods to. Because for the goods to get there, that is the situation whereby they will also send the money to these people at Tema to also send it to us. So for the coronavirus to come and then with this thing, economy problem and other things, it is affecting them a lot, because these workers cannot go to the workplace because of the coronavirus, the lockdown and other things. We were having some customers who used to bring us goods. Right now they are afraid to bring the goods because the coronavirus is everywhere. Example, people from Tamale and then Wenchi and then Kransan and other places, they are afraid to come here because if they get the information, the figure right, which is going up, and down there, they thought here also is the same. Say they cannot buy the goods and then come there. If you call them to bring the goods, they say, hey, coronavirus is there. We are afraid that we will be affected and other things.
Some workers in the cashew supply chain were plunged into debt or lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 restrictions.
Even last year, say they bought because we must go on lockdown. No man, but you try if you got 2 months, 3 months. I would use a Juma before Corona day. Sisian and Tessa.
Loading of cashew nuts bags are done physically. This highly physical activity makes the adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols difficult.
You will break a bucket here. Our barber holds us in a year. And I nose marks on flesh, but yeah, Jumana AND, intimation nose marks and find it. Because I'm not doing from my own here, no extra. But I don't know who buy Bonocrano and ye papa bia. Body but any twin time. Yes,
Jumano, be an one day, will be on my beer, fine with my nose marks and Edia Juman, Edia born Rancasana home. By so far, an idea, say beer. More provided say be a news mark and I get say could be so much and I get
According to Fatah Onuhu, workers in the cashew nut supply chain have little or no job security. They often work under poor conditions and aren't paid well.
Odo say I'd want to buy ye pay, but scanning tell my money I had at times. So cashew nuts in a bar, yes, when you're crying, I say, it's a dear. Kutwele die ndi here papa e wo form iswa ko bitima ya adwuma sana adam de die ni ska obenya no e wo iswa
once adwuma we say no man nipa wa ho ande uru skin life na ya adwuma no ntinu bibi ho no benefits bi na say koma no say unya it's at the time now they risk your life I say adwuma we say na say bia at the end na wa nya mfa so bia wo so ana e bia san ko yare kra na bia say why never be engine and I said, man, I am a crowd here.
More BB, I'm with my found there. Okay, any bed because you need assurance be about. I mean, one or show.
Employers in the cashew nut trade, however, say labor charges are highest in Ghana as compared to other African countries.
COVID-19 and its associated issues. I'm sure we all can't wait to close this chapter of our lives wearing nose masks and all the restrictions it came with. But on the flip side though, not everybody has felt the negative impact of COVID-19. For some people, actually, it has created the ideal environment for them to pursue their goals and dreams. Let's check out one of them in this video.
Currently, I'm studying as a PhD in finance student at UBIS. And then I hold an MPhil in finance from the University of Professional Studies. I also have qualified as a chartered accountant with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana.
Felix JB is an accounts officer at a senior high school in Adan, but he has always had a keen interest in impacting others with knowledge.
I always have this passion. I used to have a passion to teach. Now, I didn't identify it earlier from my SHS. I would have gone straight to do education. But then when I enrolled as an HND student, I realized that I have a passion for teaching. I met one lecturer called Mr. Sam Kujo who brought out that gift in me. I loved him. He was my mentor and I used to get close to him a lot, and with time he made me like a teaching assistant even when I was a student.
His passion drove him to action and he sought an avenue to pursue his passion even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic that placed the world largely in a place of uncertainty.
I told myself, why not create a platform for myself? After all, my aim is to help people understand the fundamentals of accounting and the basic concepts. And so I planned that I would do it. But from 4 years coming, I have never gotten the opportunities, always getting busy up and down, writing my CA papers, doing my masters. And so last year, when the COVID-19 entered Ghana and there was a lockdown, I had nowhere to go. I was in the house. That was why I realized that it's also an opportunity for me to start something. And so I started this thing whilst I was in the house about 9 months ago. And I wanted to start with the basic. I didn't have any serious equipment. I didn't have any tripod. I didn't have anything. I just had a small digital camera, and I decided. So even when I was starting, you will see that some of the videos were of very poor quality.
Felix currently has over 3,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, and he explains what he hopes to achieve with it.
My main aim of starting the YouTube channel, even though some of my friends told me you will get money, they will pay you and all that, that wasn't my main objective. My main objective was to get the accounting into the people. They should understand the things that they were not understanding from the lecture hall. That was one. And then two, since I was not getting the platform, I feel it's a good place to showcase what I can do so that people who watch it and they would want to engage my services will also come for me to engage. So those are the two principal reasons why I started the YouTube channel.
His following continues to grow on the platform with a lot of very positive feedback from viewers. But it also comes with its own set of challenges.
The feedback is very good. I get a lot of good messages. I get a lot of calls. A lot of them want me to even teach them online. Just last 2 days, a Nigerian lady who is studying in the UK called me that she wants me to teach her online and she's preparing to write AAT and that I should charge her, she's ready to pay. When I started my YouTube channel, I got a lot of criticisms. A lot of people were like, but you, this thing we teach and we get money. You are teaching it for free and people are watching and they are watching it with quality. And how do you expect some of us to make money because now they are getting it free on YouTube? I told them, no, that is not a good mentality. You get it. If because of your packet, what do you think you will get? You just don't want me to do what I'm doing. A lot of criticism, you are making it free, at least you should charge something and all that. Yes, it's good that you charge something, but my concern is with the people.
Emmanuel Ansong was once a pupil of Felix some 10 years ago, and to him, his teacher inspires him positively.
It's nice to have such a teacher because he takes us as a friend, his friend. So it's even easy to grab whatever he's teaching you. Yes, and he has taught me since class 6. Yes, and I followed him to SHS because I know what I can get from him. So he taught me accounting. He groomed my passion of being a business student because I actually wanted to be like him. So everywhere he goes, I keep on following him just like that. Yeah, so he's the best.
For students at whatever level with a phobia for accounting, Felix has this to say to you.
They shouldn't be afraid. They shouldn't be afraid. No, we've all been there before. Accounting and its related courses, financial money, they really can scare you. They can really scare you. But then, like I said earlier, determination is one thing and seriousness. And so if they are not really getting the kind of teacher who would get time to explain this for them, or they are afraid, I think they should extend. That is why the YouTube channel is there. So I will encourage them to come onto my channel.
Judgment debt, judgment debt, judgment debt. Hey, have you heard that Ghana is likely to pay over $100 million over some contracts that were cancelled? Hey, $100 million. Do you know how many roads that can fix? Or even how many cheap compounds it can build? Or even with our much talked about 88 district hospitals? Well, I'm sure you want to know all about the contract. Check out this video. Management of the Beijing Everyway Traffic and Lighting Technology Company Limited is seeking $55 million in damages from the Ghana government at the London Court of International Arbitration. This follows the cancellation of the Accra Intelligent Traffic Management Project, which was earlier awarded to the company. The company was contracted in 2018 to implement the project worth $100 million following government's approval. Based on that, Beijing Everyway said it had submitted $10 million of performance security to the ministry and shipped over 50 containers of goods to Ghana for the implementation of the project. The implementation agency for the project was the Ministry of Roads and Highways. But in November last year, the bill was relayed before Parliament, this time with a contract agreement between the Government of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of National Security, Huawei Technologies Company Limited, and the China National Import and Export Corporation. It was subsequently passed under a certificate of urgency. In response to government's move, management of Beijing Every Way hinted that it would file a suit against the Ghana government in the London Court of International Arbitration. But government has defended its decision to change the contractor for the implementation of the project. In an interview with Citi Business News, then chairman of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, Seth Champon, indicated that government did not agree with the conditionality in the previous contract, hence the decision to terminate it. Commenting on the suit, Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentel, believes the country risks incurring a judgment debt.
So these guys clearly are going to wait and walk away free. If they had done the work, maybe they wouldn't have even made that kind of profit and would have gotten the benefits of the work. Now they're going to walk away free. They're in international arbitration. And clearly, if you read the papers, I don't see how they're going to lose this business. And what are we left with? This is a poor country. We are not a rich country. Even in middle income, we are struggling. And people make decisions like this. And we lose 100 million here, 50 million there, 200 million here, as if we have money to spend. It's very distressing.
Still on judgment debt-related issues, the Institute for Energy Security, IES, has bemoaned the impact of a judgment debt that has been slapped on the government by the International Court of Arbitration. Ghana has been hit with a $134 million judgment debt over the cancellation of its emergency power agreement with GCGP Limited. The contract, signed in 2015, was among those cancelled by former Energy Minister Boachi Ejaku, with the reason that they were not needed and were only going to further lead to the ballooning of Ghana's debts in the energy sector. The International Court of Arbitration, in its ruling on the contract cancellation, also said the judgment debt comes with a $30 million interest payment obligation. The IES, on their part, believes this is unfortunate. In an interaction with Citi Business News, a fellow at the Institute, Beatrice Annan, noted that this judgment debt has not only caused financial strain on the country, but has gone a long way to damage the country's reputation.
It means that the country will have to use taxpayers' money in excess of $134 million to pay the foreign entity, which is GPGC. It further means that as a struggling economy as we are, governments will have to cough another $30 million to pay interest. I mean, beyond the financial damage that has been caused to the country, there's also the reputational damage, where to the international community today, a change in government will mean discontinuity in government business. And so the international community will begin to look at Ghana with another eye. And for us, we think that it's not a good brand to build as a nation. And so we are at a position where, unfortunately, despite the struggling economy and the impact of COVID-19, the government of Ghana will further have to assume this burden, or rather the people of Ghana will further have to assume this burden, which is quite unfortunate.
Now let's talk about food. I hear tomatoes in the Ashanti region now is very expensive. A box that used to sell for about 350 cedis is now selling for over 500 Ghana cedis. Hey, that's expensive. You know, did you hear that the traders there went on a strike over some security concerns? And that's the reason why the prices have increased like that. But well, we hear that the police is doing something about it. Let's find out.
It is early morning here at Dr. Mensah, one of the busiest markets in the Kumasi metropolis. Traders who buy tomatoes on a retail basis are rushing to get the commodity. Although there has not been a shortage of tomatoes on the market due to the strike by importers of the commodity, prices have been affected.
Buan de first and then Abuano of phone, as I say, Omukunkuma draba phone into almost so monko until Mobran son of Mauram, into Sanos of Buano so much the Kakraka. That's the near to me, 3 million. So say, and a Nebuan I didn't view having about 5. Just a hone I didn't.
Ekuafo no ma na bi ni ho. Kira waga afo de ni na ba. Nso se sie nipa bone for tata hom. Unti amaye nye bi nto. Eno ma ne ho ayede. Oh, yenye bi. Wo mo ba so na mo se ye tata hom nti. Ne bo ayede. Ye to krampo bi wo ho anso ni sika. Oh, me aboka. Tina mane o. First dia na ya ntata wo mu na etimi ba 3 million 35. Ya to. So ne etimi dru 75. Ne body. Uya enso. Oh, now no man so ko.
The Tomato Traders and Transporters Association declared a strike over attacks on its members by robbers on the Ghana-Burkina Faso highway. The association says 7 of its members have been robbed and shot in less than 3 weeks while returning from Burkina Faso with tomatoes. The Inspector General of Police has intervened by directing the deployment of armed police officers to provide escort services for them. Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP David Ajman Ajim met the traders on behalf of the Inspector General of Police and spoke to City Business News.
So the IGP sent me through the regional commander to give them a message. I think their concern was security on the highways, and the IGP wants me to assure them that he's already had some men deployed on the armed men deployed on the highway, and that we should also give them escorts as they go about their duties, and that's what the information we gave them this evening. They wanted escort. We are saying that the IGP says that he's liaising with the military high command to see if it is possible to have the military come with us to do the assignment. I think one of the things I would advise the traders to do is not to carry too much money on them. I think that basically people attack them because they know that they are carrying huge sums of money. So they should find alternate ways of sending their monies to the marketplaces.
The leadership of the association welcomed the intervention and says it will meet to decide on when to call off the strike. Eric Osei-Tufo is the national chairman of the association.
I'm highly satisfied. I'm very happy today because the rate at which they were robbing our members was very, very unprecedented. And as such, I wrote to the IGP, and the response today is very, very positive for us. Well, we need to plan within 2-3 days with the police, as you've already heard. They have to plan everything, then the escort will take off, then we'll call off the strike action. They have to obey the rules and the regulation the police will put in place so that they can escort them to wherever they wanted to go.
At the Dr. Mensah market, traders who deal in the commodity want a lasting solution to the concerns of the tomato importers.
Freight forwarders at Tema Port are raising concerns about an increase in some of their fees. For a country that imports almost everything we use, we all have to be concerned. Who wants to hear anything about an increase in the prices of goods, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic where everybody is hard up? Well, let's hear from the freight forwarders on what they have to say about the issue.
Freight forwarders and importers would have to brace themselves to pay more to get their goods out of the port from March 1 this year, as several shipping lines operating in the country have served notice of an increment in their charges. Shipping lines have indicated an increase of almost 100%. This move has not gone down well with some industry players who say the directive is unfortunate. Some freight forwarding associations spoke with Citi News.
And per our checks, the container that used to charge maybe $2,000, $3,000, they are now calling $11,000 to $13,000 freight. So it's making it difficult for importers to, import their stuff into the country. It's going to affect us seriously in a sense that the projection that importers have made, as per their containers. Now they are being slashed with freight charges, which is even more than the cost of buying things. We don't want to accept it. We don't want to accept it. So we totally disagree with it. And they should go back to the drawing board.
I think that the government really needs to step in. It is becoming too much, and the importing agencies, that's Guta and others, the Ghana industries, all need to come up and stand up against this. It's not fair. And apparently all the shipping lines have decided to go on that line. And all the terminal companies are also towing that same line. So by the 1st of March, latest by the ending of March, you realize that it's so expensive to do business at the port. We think that the shipping lines and terminal operators are not quite being very fair to us.
Some importers who spoke to Citi News on the development have also indicated strongly that they will either reduce the volumes of containers or stop the imports if their concerns are not addressed soon.
As an importer, I can say things have gone up too much. Because first, when we load from China, 40 feet high queue, it's about $3,500. And now, during the Christmas time, it was $6,500. Then up to December ending, it's $12,000 for 40 feet high queue to export to Ghana. So things are very, very bad. We don't know why they increase. They keep saying there's no containers in China. But that doesn't mean they have to increase it 4 times. It's too bad.
Because shipment in Ankasa is 2,700 euros. And it's about to be bisua. I better meet me for Frasaba. It's a meeting to add more than 15,000 euros to go container. Now I bet on 8 million dear. Yeah, possible some back.
It's so bad because especially the importation from Asia, China, specific, we were paying $4,500 for freight, and all of a sudden within I think 5 weeks to 7 weeks thereabouts, now it has shoot up to almost $12,000 times 3, over 300%. You see, so it has affected the business so well.
But the president of the Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana, SWAG, Imoro Ayana, says SWAG is unable to dictate to its members regarding their charges, as every shipping line has its own unique cost base and pricing preferences. He, however, says the increase in shipping line charges may have arisen as a result of some increment in port charges by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA.
SWAG is not here to dictate what people would have to pay for what services that the individual members offer to the general public. The bottom line is everybody's cost base is different. MEC's cost base will be different from CMA, CGM's cost base. So where do you draw the line? Obviously, if the shipping lines are operating in the port areas and the port increases their charges, obviously the shipping lines will also increase their charges.
But the executive secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association, Samson Asaki Awingobit, disagrees with the SWAG president. He is therefore advocating for an independent body to regulate the activities of shipping lines in the country.
The shipping lines have just increased freight to like $10,000 for 40-footer container and to like $6,000 for 20-footer container. It's so much liberal. Liberal to say that a private man comes to your country to do business, and they are dictating what to do for you. As I said earlier, if an importer, if MSC could peg last year or last 2 years like this, could peg $1 at the time, I think it was $8 or $9 for the whole year. They just did a fix when dollar had not even hit 6 series in this country. So you can imagine, you don't know where to go and report. You don't know where. You go to Parliament, Trade Committee, at the end of the day, you don't know where the report goes to. We need authority that can regulate the shipping lines.
Meanwhile, the vice chairman of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF, Johnny Mante, says GIF has written to all shipping lines to offer the association an explanation for the increment.
Basically, what the president of the association has done is to write to all these shipping lines who have proposed that increment so that we have an understanding of what those increments are for. As we speak, we are yet to receive any confirmation from them.
All efforts to speak to some shipping lines for their input proved futile.
Auto mechanics in Seshiri also say business has dropped drastically for them. They were relocated to a new site by the municipal assembly, and they say that drivers are having a hard time conveying their faulty vehicles to this new site. Let's hear them out in this video.
The fitters were for many years working at Sefi Idunase magazine, where business was very prolific until the year 2012, when they were authorized by the Sefi Municipal Assembly to vacate the land and relocate to the new magazine allotted to them near a suburb called Nyamebetre. After 9 years of disagreement with the assembly, they were convinced to move there in January 2021. Speaking to City Business, the mechanics outlined various reasons for the decline in business and seized the opportunity to appeal to government to intervene in addressing their challenges.
How do we be? Ye dikaye we ye fit adwuma na na cars wo problem more na ye ba shop na ye ba bia ye police belly a wo no ama cars dodo na no omo ba ya na omo ha omo adwene obu o beba na the car hon krata bi enye obu on so car no kro ba no na car no kro sugar no de nam e ba so beduru a atete ne ne mo be fam nti okwa o se bibini na se ye onyafo bi o se me ma biem e bi se ha me ba ha no police for no e ha ma adwene too much nti anya de a me ba ha biem na ye ye wuro e shop na kwa koye mienu e kwa e se ye ko the other side na omunye ye light system so na kwa koye one way e bi se light na koye tia ne na mo soro do ha se nyina no omunya kanea na ye fa no nsuo nso do ha afo no nsuo na ye wo soro ano ye ni bo ho ni bi
ba se ba 1 month money by no man akra bi na haya wa nka aje fofo de adwuma ye makoma ni se e dan ya ba na mu de ha se fitafo no bebre wukurum a omunya ma ha ndi ya ye o mazi no mutu ye ba ha no do no na biwa so nkurukurum ndi nipa no hwe 40 bi ye na se ye ho nko ba frɛ ye no enam se beri abisu wo anim ha de ba do we for mo ba mo ha mo ba fiti mo ha mo de nanso da afo de nka de hu ahye mu se beri an wo ho no se mo ka na bia ho atoche me be mo ba ya po for ba ha mo enu nti ema ne ba na yo mo de kakra yenim se ade bia ha se no din de nanso bedum ne bi na be yi nka me ma de se de na se ka nanka evi ne mama beri na akọ yanim nanka efi a kire ba nanka beri bia nanka akọ yanim a nka beboa na fe so ade ba kwa sa ha se ba ha emu achemi nu se bi wo se nsu bi across bi wo hazi na ebi so anti nka kwanda yanim hazi ya kusi ho yesa ba se mo so mo ye covet aman covet na ka ho wonu mo sa ka de amaye mu nwie omo ntum fele ho ma sa ka betumi afa ha pia
se ba bia ne ye wo no na ho no eyekurum kakra nti in case se obi kura nya fault a o branch ya na wawura mu na chese ya nya no na ya ye ho adwuma na ya je ne kakra ba ya ha no so no ya ba ye nya ne sa I say customers na ye no mu ye adwuma na mu di adwuma no ebre ye se customer ne ma ya nya adwuma nye.
Maintaining that a police barrier sited at Abudiem Junction is the main impediment to drivers bringing their vehicle to the new magazine for maintenance, City Business News spoke with some drivers on their concerns about the development.
Se ye ba akra na ye krompo na ya na ya butwen kakra aye hai na first na ye won ho no ni omoto ade pa na omotumi ye adwuma no na enam se belia na mba be ye kwan mu ha ande ye ba akra na ya butwen esanka Bedi ana esanka ebe nim kakra mai. Sanka bit ma boy. So ye ba kra int me ma. And say ye ba na ya no mo stop we. I am stop we and so the ye kana omo ntiase mai. Say be fitem kra ya na omo high.
Na omo ba ha no do high de. Ba de ha na wa mai. Ford kick to be kura aje say to careful no answer in and out kura patrol ne kan kan. Na fe so fact most of drivers no so bari na wo kwan so no ya na etrete kakra. Zanke be ye na kombema bari ankura twam afiri ha ewo akire no wa mama nke no beje ho.
Well, all too soon we've come to the end of the show. You will be missed. Thank you for watching. Tune in same time next week. And don't forget to tune into the Business Dashboard at 7 p.m. sharp every weekday for news making the world of business on television. And yep, check out our website, Citi Business News, for regular news updates. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. Stay informed. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.